Hi, and welcome to another episode of Healthy Monadnock Heartbeat, where we talk with people and organizations who are working to make the healthy choice the easy choice in the places that we live, learn, work, and play. Research tells us that our income and our zip code have more to do with our health than almost any other factor. And today, the big question is, how do we know if the health of our economy can really impact our health? We know that children who grow up in a family that makes living wages have a much better life expectancy, and they can live a longer, healthier, more productive life than a child who grows up in poverty. So today, we're talking with Jen Risley, who's the Executive Director of Monadnock Buy Local, to find out if having a stronger local economy can really help the health of our community. So welcome, Jen. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here today. I wanted to ask you about Monadnock Buy Local. How long has it been around? What's the history? How long have you been involved?
Yeah, so Monadnock Buy Local started in 2009. It was actually a project of the Keene Downtown Group in downtown Keene, and we quickly realized that in order to make a real impact on our local economy, we needed to broaden our scope. So we switched from downtown Keene to all the Monadnock region on all sides of the mountain. We began that in 2009, which I mentioned, and I was a part of that founding group. And now for about the past year, I've been the executive director. And we are a network of individuals, businesses, and organizations that together work to make our community more local, and more fair and more green.
And more fair and more green. So why is a local economy important? Why should we care about this?
Well, there's lots of things that supporting our local economy means supporting our independent businesses, shifting some of our spending to those local businesses. And if we all did that, we would actually be generating more for our local community and economy with more jobs, more charitable giving, and better health. So in our community, it's actually been shown, a study showed that when we spend our dollars at independent businesses, four times more money recirculates in our local economy than if we bought things in a chain store.
Wow.
And if we all shifted 10% every year, we would bring $27 million back to recirculate and grow more jobs. And we did have some posters that highlight some of the reasons why you might want to buy local. We can bring those up.
Maybe we can look at those. And you can.
They build community. As you're going to your favorite coffee store, you tend to see your friends and neighbors. And it's also been called the ultimate social networking site, is to go and shop locally. Economic vitality, I mentioned in this poster, it actually says 3 times more money, but in our community it's actually 4, because our independent business owners buy so much from other local independent business owners that the local multiplier is even stronger.
So there's a formula that you can work with?
There's actually an organization called Civic Economics from Texas came and did this study for us through a survey. So,
interesting.
Yeah, yep. Health or environment, when you buy locally, you tend to have less miles things being shipped less miles, you have less packaging, so there tends to be a correlation between that.
I think we had one more.
And of course, the one that I love, more jobs and opportunity, because as we have stronger businesses, they can hire more people. There's more room for new entrepreneurs to bring their ideas to market.
Right.
So it's all ways that not only are you helping the local business owners, you're helping yourselves and your family.
And you're creating those living wages and the more job opportunities for people entering the community. That's great. And what are some of the biggest barriers that you see for our local economy and local business owners right now?
Yeah, every year we participate in a survey with a national group. And this year, what was really on business owners' minds were more and more people are shopping online at bigger, like Amazon, rather than buying things locally because of convenience or the perception that it's always going to be more expensive. That's been a real struggle for them. Also the credit card fees, every time we use our credit card, I think it was a 2% average of the income for the locally owned businesses actually goes to the credit card companies instead of staying locally, so that's a big struggle. And just in terms of our local economy work here in our community, it's just our own capacity to do this work. There's lots of awesome initiatives, lots of volunteers doing great things, but having some of the energy channel into this work still is a struggle because we're young, but we're doing a lot on a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see myself, I shop online. I like to think I shop local, but I definitely shop online, and I never have cash, so I'm always using credit cards.
Yep, it's really easy
it's
to
a barrier.
do.
Yeah. So what are some of the national trends? Is it kind of the same everywhere, or what are you seeing nationally for local economies?
Yeah, there's lots of really exciting trends that are coming even to this region slowly. One of them is worker cooperatives. So we have a food co-op that's owned by the community, but with worker co-ops, the business is actually owned by the workers. So there's a lot more democratic activity. There's usually more living wage for all because everybody has a stake in the business. And when you're talking about, supporting locally owned businesses, imagine if it was every single person that worked there as the owner. Yeah. So it's a lot of responsibility, but studies have shown that it brings a lot of good to the community by having those.
Are there some towns that are doing that really well?
I think that it's mostly an experimentation stage. I know the city of Rochester, where I'm from, actually hired an organization to come in and look at the feasibility of more worker co-ops in the whole city because their local economy is stagnating, if not getting worse. I know Real Pickles, if you bought those sauerkraut and pickles from the Monadnock Food Co-op, they're down in Greenfield, Massachusetts, and they converted about a year ago to a worker co-op. A lot of businesses that have older owners are thinking about reworking their business as a worker co-op because then they know that their business will continue on. They won't have to sell it to someone who might change it. They'll sell it to all the workers.
So is this different than a business that's employee owned? I know King Arthur Flour is employee owned, and what's the difference?
There might be a slight difference, but usually when it's called employee owned, it is organized as a co-op. It could be a different shareholder model that I'm not as well versed on, but you can usually assume or ask if that mean is it a worker co-op?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Thank you. Yeah. And what are some of the bright spots in the Monadnock region? Are we doing anything really well around here?
We're doing lots of great things. Something that I get really excited about is all the energy around local food. That's been around for many, many years, even before I came here a decade ago. And just the enthusiasm for supporting farms and going to farmers markets and buying locally made goods at whatever grocery store you choose. So I see a lot of energy there, and I'm excited to start connecting the dots more between eating locally and buying locally and seeing that it's part of the same movement. Same thing with banking locally. It's all contributing. So we want to work more together to have a bigger impact. Another great bright spot is our Plaid Friday celebration, which I know we brought some pictures.
Let's look.
And every year, the day after Thanksgiving is now Plaid Friday in the Monadnock region. We ask people to show their support for our local economy by wearing plaid and going out with their friends and neighbors instead of kind of going into the frenzy that is Black Friday.
Yeah, and it looks like, that doesn't look like Keene. Is that Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, so it happens in all the communities in the Monadnock region. So we got some pictures from Jaffrey, the food co-op, and different businesses will volunteer to be a hub so that when somebody comes in dressed in plaid, they'll take their picture. They'll be able to tell people about Plaid Friday who don't know about it. I know Willard Williams from the Toadstool Bookshop's been a hub for many years. He was part of the original steering committee, but he told me this year that about 3/4 of his shoppers were wearing plaid and that those that weren't still knew about it. So it's kind of gaining momentum. And more people are getting really excited about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So have any of them reported higher business on that day?
That's
or
a great
do you
question.
think we've been able to direct some of that Black Friday shopping to our community?
Yeah, it actually has shown a difference, especially in communities that have a Buy Local campaign like ours. They've had stronger sales compared to locally owned businesses without a group working hard. I know every year, again, we do a survey that shows us the average over time, and it's interesting because American Express does a Small Business Saturday
Yep.
promotion, and nationwide that's a pretty popular event for independent businesses and small business to participate in. But in our community, and our merchants have been really excited about Plaid Friday because it's not connected with a larger national business. It's connected with a grassroots group.
That's so great.
So people are seeing the difference. This year was a little bit different because we realized how much of an impact buying online had. So we didn't see the same kind of increases in sales that we saw the year before. We know we have to do something to kind of counter that, to get people to think about where they're spending their money at home. And so Willard Williams, who I mentioned before, actually came up with Cider Monday instead of Cyber Monday, just to go online and buy presents on Cyber Monday. Well, he wants people to come to his store and drink cider for Cider Monday. So there was probably about 40 businesses in all the Monadnock region that participated in that this year. So we see that as a great opportunity to talk about buying online. And while you can buy online at an independent store, people might not realize that. So you can still have the convenience without sending all your money to a faraway place.
And I think you mentioned this, maybe you mentioned it already, buying from a store locally is 4 times, no, what is it? If you spend your money online, you make, you take even more money away from the economy.
That's right.
Versus a nationally owned business, and a locally built. Do you want to phrase that better than me?
Yeah, I know it is a complicated thing. So if you're choosing between a chain store that's here in our community versus a locally owned business, you'll be generating 4 times more money if you choose that locally owned business. But if you're buying online, the difference is 50 times more of an impact, because there is, at least with a chain, they tend to be paying their staff who are local. So there is some there's definitely economic benefit, but there's just more of a positive local economic impact if we buy at locally owned businesses. And so we just try to advocate as much as people can to think local first. So before your first instinct is to go online and search for something, you know, give someone a call or stop by and be like, hey, can you get me this book? Because I know I started using Toadstool's directory online to find books, and was pleasantly surprised it takes about 2 days to get the book if it's not in stock. And I can order it online and say I'll pay for it and pick it up. And so it's just some of those things that, people want convenience, they want great prices, but they might be getting those at locally owned business. They just haven't stopped to take a look. So,
and improving social connections.
And our seeing their friends and neighbors who, they might also be sitting on a board with, or going to sit at a soccer game with that same person because they live here.
So I know you also had shared a video, or wanted to share a video with us. Do you want to give us a little introduction about what we'll be watching?
Sure. I know with Monadnock Buy Local we have a board of 9 people, and we are really busy all the time doing this work, so it's always nice to connect with the larger national movement. And so this video is produced by the Business Alliance for Local Living Economies, or BALI, and it's all about what prosperity means in a community local economy context.
Okay, let's take a look.
Prosperity. What is real prosperity? What does it look like? How does it feel? What does it mean to truly prosper? Is it about having the most? Is it a competition? Or about making it on my own? Does it mean me versus you? Or does it mean something else? What if real prosperity meant that it is actually all right to care for each other? That you have a place, and so does everyone else. Imagine if a grassroots movement of local people decided that we could make and grow and invest in the goods and the services that our communities need. That jobs and wealth were better in the hands of the many rather than the few. That as manufacturers, family farmers, independent retailers, as energy providers, or as community bankers, that we could all just decide that it was all right to care for each other. that real prosperity meant business as kindness, business as community, business as justice, and as life. Now imagine, what if such a movement was already here? Here at Bali, the Business Alliance for Local Living Economies, we know that real prosperity is local by its very nature. Because it's in our place where we recognize that how we treat each other matters, that we are connected. From Seattle to Cincinnati, Asheville to Minneapolis, New Orleans to Vancouver, BC, Bali is celebrating and recognizing, supporting and connecting the leaders of a new economy. Investing in people who grow and preserve food to feed their neighbors in Detroit, or strengthen nature-based businesses in Appalachia, creating jobs and healthy, rich soil, or who offer low-interest loans to businesses that create good jobs for people in Oakland. These leaders prove that choosing economic models that allow all of us to prosper together works. The new economy is here and growing. It's just a choice, one we all can make. It is all right to care. Join us in saying yes, we are in this together, and we wouldn't want it any other way. Join us in creating real prosperity together.
Thanks, that was a great video. Welcome back to Healthy Monadnock Heartbeat. Today we're talking with Jen Risley from Monadnock Buy Local. Jen, can you tell us what's on the horizon for Monadnock Buy Local?
Yeah, we have been busy getting ready for a visitor. Michael Shuman, who is an attorney and author and a local economist and an all-around great guy, will be visiting our region on April 7th and 8th. And the topic he's bringing to our community is Pollinator Enterprises.
Okay.
And those are, just like bees will dance around and spreading pollen from one flower to another and actually help the flower out while it's helping itself. Pollinator Enterprises help other businesses while helping their own business thrive. So that could be a nonprofit, a for-profit. It's really a business that's able to bring in its own revenue to do the work it needs to do. Our local government has so much that it wants to accomplish that it's a challenge to do economic development work. And so Pollinator Enterprises could take on some of that work. One example is a business incubator, like the Hannah Grimes Center for Entrepreneurship, maker spaces, where people can come in and create things together and network, as another example. Even Monadnock Table Magazine, that's actually highlighting local farmers and food vendors, that is helping her own business thrive, but also helping all these other businesses thrive. So Monadnock Buy Local wants to start its own pollinator enterprise to do something that helps our local business owners that we don't have to ask for more money from our members to do. So we're really excited to have Michael come. And on April 7th at 7 p.m. at Keene State College Alumni Center, we have a poster.
I think we have a flyer we can pull up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Michael will be speaking. It's a public event. It's free.
Great.
And he will be giving an overview, examples about Pollinator Enterprises, answering questions. And this event is part of the Greater Keene Chamber of Commerce Regional Issues Series. So we're really excited to partner with them, as well as about 18 other businesses that are sponsoring the event, including Healthy Monadnock. So that one's a great one to get an overview. And then the next day, for people who want to go deeper, we have a full day workshop at the Hannah Grimes Center. That's from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And for people who are thinking about starting a pollinator enterprise or already have one beginning, Michael is going to work with us to sketch out some preliminary plans for introducing or growing that pollinator enterprise.
So business plans and just work with them on their strategy, their goals.
That's right.
That's great. And that's free for anyone.
That's free as well. And open to anyone who's interested. You don't have to have a pollinator enterprise to participate.
Okay. And where can people find out about this if they're interested in learning more?
You can go to our website, which is monadnocklocal.org. And you'll see a link to our Pollinator Enterprises right there on the front page. Or you can email me at monadnockbuylocal@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to send you anything you need.
Great. And then did you want to talk, can you talk a little bit more about Michael Shuman? I think
Sure.
he's written a book that was...
Yeah, one of his latest book, he's written a lot of books, but his latest one is The Local Economy Solution, which is outlining 28 different models for Pollinator Enterprises. So in his book, he talks a lot about economic development in a traditional sense, and how a lot of people want to think that the answer to increasing our economy is to recruit businesses from far away and compete with other parts of our state to get somebody to be here. And Michael's argument or opportunity is, why don't you just cultivate what's already here through Pollinator Enterprises, investing in businesses, so that you don't spend all this money to just bring a couple jobs that might leave just as fast as they come here. So he really is an advocate for cultivating your own economy, or they call it economic gardening sometimes.
Economic gardening, I love it. That's great. Well, is there anything else you wanted to mention that Monadnock Buy Local has been working on? We talked about Plaid Friday. You must have some other, I know you have some more tricks in your bag.
That's right. Well, a lot of people have already been participating in our Independence Week, which is the first week in July. The mayor of Keene will always do a proclamation supporting locally owned businesses and saying it's Independence Week. And then we ask people to take the pledge, the Buy Local pledge, for a week. And they can actually say they're only going to buy from locally owned businesses for the full week, just to see how easy or hard it is.
First week of July, Independence Week.
We have an online directory, so wherever you are in the Monadnock region, if you want to find a certain business type, you can use it online. Use our directory and punch in the town you're in, the topic you're looking for. Any business who wants their own profile, it's free, so you can go ahead and sign up online. We have our Buy Local guide that we produce every year. And this year is featuring Toadstool Bookshop, but we list all of our members, and then we have an article about one of our members so people get to know them better. And we try to highlight something in our local economy that's strengthening everyone. We do that as well. And every month we have an article in the newspaper where we touch upon all aspects of the local economy, not just shopping locally, but we've done an article on the Rack It Up program. So we want more businesses to support bicycling. We do a lot of things for, every August we highlight the local food system for New Hampshire Eat Local Month. So it really is an opportunity to shed a light on all the great things happening in our community. So that's been really fun.
It's amazing how much I think local economy and local business is tied to our community's health and the health of people. I mean, that's great.
Absolutely.
Let's take a step back or look ahead. 10 years from now, if everyone did shift 10% of their shopping to buy local, what do you think our community could look like?
I love that question. For me, it looks like robust main streets in every town in the Monadnock region. We're lucky enough, I live in Keene, so we're lucky enough to have a walkable downtown, but I want to see that everywhere. I want to see more co-ops, whether they're worker-owned or member-owned. I want to see more people with living wage, so more prosperity for all people, not just a few. So I think that as more people spend locally, that money will be rippling into new, incredible, cultural venues for us.
I think the entrepreneurial aspect is so important there too.
It really is.
Yes, people do say, oh, I could stick around here and start a business here.
And I have people who can help me get there. I have a community to help me get there. So that's really exciting too.
That's great. Well, Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. I have a little gift bag for you from Healthy Monadnock.
Thank you.
Here you go. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
If we have time, I would love to run the clip from the CDC. It shows how public health builds the economy in small communities, and just as we're talking about how local businesses can build public health. So it's the back and forth relationship between community health and local economies.
Just in the 3.5 short years that I've been here, Gardner's seen an unbelievable transformation. We're taking a holistic approach to business development and health by giving folks an opportunity to eat healthier, to get active, and to stop smoking.
If a downtown is healthy, if the employees that work there are healthy and the residents are healthy, then more people will want to live there, work there, and play there, which, of course, is economic development.
Big businesses have opportunities for wellness just by virtue of their size. But here in Gardner, we have small businesses. We're providing opportunities for them to have access to these wellness programs. The Healthy Passport option is a program where restaurants have identified one or more of their healthiest options on the menu.
There you go. Oh, wow. You come in, you ask for the passport, and you have our healthy option, and you get your passport checked.
Once they get 5 punches, then they win a prize.
Our healthy option is the beet salad, and we've been selling a lot more beet salads since that went on the table. Offering healthy food is definitely good for the bottom line.
Gardner's always had a great farmer's market. One of the things that we've introduced is to try and encourage more people who worked here during the day to visit the farmer's market. And we did this by creating a cash mob. A cash mob is an opportunity for folks to come together, hold up their $20 bills and say, I'm ready to spend it locally. And if they did that, we would offer $5 on top to stretch that $20. The walking train is a quick loop through our beautiful historic downtown and through our waterfront park to give folks a chance to stretch their legs in the middle of their day.
It doesn't take much time or effort, and I get a little bit of exercise.
We've started to create bonds within the community of like businesses, but also sometimes businesses that are unlike.
I've met a lot of people who are my business neighbors.
The popularity has continued to grow, and the benefits have been overwhelming.
When one employer takes that step to make their employees healthier, they see results. And then they share it with the guy next door, and the guy next door says, oh, that's a great program. I need my employees to be more productive, so I'm gonna start thinking about health and wellness. And then the storefront that's empty next door, all of a sudden says, wow, this is a really vibrant, healthy community. I wanna put my business there. That just happened in downtown Gardner.
People are starting to be excited about coming to Gardner. They bought houses here, and they're going to have their business here. That says that city's doing something right.
Gardner's changing for the better, and I know that all our efforts are paying off. This could transfer anywhere across the country. Folks could use these ideas in their own community and see how making folks healthier really helps community and economic development.
Us today on Healthy Monadnock Heartbeat, and thank you to our guest, Jen Risley from Monadnock Buy Local. It was great to hear about all the great things you're doing, and we look forward to seeing everyone next time on the next episode.